Okay, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. How are you, everybody? We are in the sixth Immigration Residency Club meeting. We talked today about Brasilia. In the beginning, just I give a small brief about our club, Residency and Immigration Citizenship Club. We are bringing every 2 3 weeks or every monthly 2 or 3 times expert from one country to talk about the immigration, residency, citizenship programs available in such country, so we can help people to change their life, change their future, their kids' future, and all of this. All the meetings are recorded, and we send the PDF of the presentation and the video of the meeting to our WhatsApp group and on our social media, so you can review all the presentation and everything. Whenever you like the country, the program or something, you connect it to me in our club and Dr. Brand, for me, Mahmoud Bهجت. Then I connect you to our expert in such country, so you can continue. We diagnoses your case and talk with you about your future plan and your future expectation. Then we recommend the country for you, good for your opportunities or good for your qualification or whatever. Then we go for you with the complete process till you reach the meeting. I will put in Arabic for seconds. في نادي الهجرة والإقامة احنا كل اسبوعين 3 بنجيب خبير من دولة بيتكلم على الدولة دي وبرامج الهجرة بتاعتها. انت لو مهتم بدوله منهم، احنا نقدر نساعدك ان نختار معاك الدوله المناسبه ليك ونوصلك بالخبير ده في الدوله دي، بحيث تقدر تمشي في اجراءات الهجره او الاقامه او الجنسيه في الدوله دي ان شاء الله. اوكي. Today we have Julia from Paris now, and we have Francisco from Dominic Republic now. They will talk to us about Brazil investment immigration program in Brazil. Okay, so again, if you have any question, please you can write down in the chat to everybody, and from time to time I will make a small translation in Arabic, and again we will send the video to everybody and the PDF after this. Julia and Francisco, please introduce yourself, then start the presentation. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. My name is Francisco Litvai. I'm originally from Brazil, although not speaking from Brazil right now. And both me and Julia have been working with Brazil relocation for years. We've already helped a total of over 3,500 clients with international relocation plans in South America, not just Brazil, but this is one of the main jurisdictions that we work with, and it's one of the jurisdictions that we think makes the most sense, particularly for people from Arabic countries, because it is, as you'll be able to see, a very interesting residency destination. It is a country that has a lot of cultural fit, and it is a great path to a passport that will allow you access to basically almost the whole world, right? Except maybe United States. But it's a really solid country for these international plans, and with reasonable investment residency options, much cheaper than what you'll see in most European countries. So I'm glad to be sharing more of these details today.
Okay, just Julia, wait a second بس I'll translate little in Arabic. So فرانسيسكو ساعد حوالي 3500 أسرة إن هم ريلوكيت للبرازيل وأمريكا اللاتينية كلها. هو راجل أصلا اوريدي برازيلي عايش دلوقتي في جمهورية الدومينيك وبيلف على كذا دولة تانية، فبيتكلم على إن الموضوع أرخص وأوفر أحسن لدول كتير وناس كتيرة من الوطن العربي بيجوا على هناك. فده بس فرانسيسكو. Okay, Julia, let's go.
Great. Thank you so much for the introduction. So my name is Julia. I was born in France. I've been living in Brazil for more than 10 years now, and I've been helping for almost the same time people to relocate over there.
Wow.
And a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. اوكي. جوليا برضو عايشه في البرازيل اكثر من 10 سنين، وساعدت نفس العدد برضو مع فرانسيسكو ان هم يتنقلوا لبرازيل وامريكا اللاتينيه. فتاني احنا ان شاء الله الفتره الجايه هنتكلم على البرازيل في كذا بروجرام. المره دي وي توك اباوت انفستمنت مايجريشن اور الاستثمار بالهجره بالاستثمار. الاسبوع الجاي هنتكلم على الهجره بالولاده او في الديجيتال نوماد. يعني we will arrange بقى both meeting next week and the week after, then we will go for another meeting sorry I will go for another meeting for other countries later on. يعني هنخش في بلاد تانية في أمريكا اللاتينية برضو بعد كده. Okay sir, let's continue. You move the presentation and continue please. Yes.
Fantastic. So let's get started, guys. We will discuss today particularly the investor residency paths in Brazil. Brazil has two main options, business and real estate. And so let's get started. We already did our presentation, so I'm going to skip the part about who we are. You just heard. Quick brief about Brazil, right? So Brazil is the biggest country in South America, fifth biggest in the world. It's a country that has borders to every single South American country except for Chile and Ecuador. Here you can see 5 main Brazilian regions, which will be important for our discussion on the investment paths today. So in orange, you can see the Northeast region. In green, the North region, which is then mostly Amazonic. Center West, which is more agricultural, has a lot of that plantation lifestyle. The orange one is more the Brazilian Caribbean, let's say, lots of beaches. Southeast is where you have a lot of variety. We have Rio de Janeiro with a lot of nature and tourism. São Paulo, which is the financial center. Minas Gerais, which is very historical, great food. And then south of Brazil, which is a bit more European, a bit more temperate weather, a bit colder for those that want a bit of that style. And this will be important for the investment paths also, because there's some difference between the regions.
Wait, go back. Wait.
First, yeah, translate.
So دي خريطة البرازيل زي ما انتم شايفين متقسمة 5 مناطق، المنطقة الغربية والمنطقة الشمالية والمنطقة الوسطى والمنطقة اللي على اليمين فيها ريو دي جانيرو، والمنطقة اللي تحت كل منطقة منهم فيها جزء معين. دي ليها علاقة فيها مثلا غابات أمازون، دي فيها زراعة، دي فيها صناعة، دي فيها حاجات كده. For me the Caribbean is next to Rio de Janeiro or where? The Caribbean.
The Brazilian Caribbean, as they say,
the virus of
is
the
this
Caribbean
area
movie.
here.
For on
It's
the right.
northeast.
نورث ايست. اوكي، يعني في الجزء بتاع الكاريبيان هو الشمال الشرقي اللي على اليمين ده الجنب البرتغالي. اوكي، let's continue sir.
Perfect. So Brazil, in terms of culture, for those that don't know much about it yet, but basically Brazil is a country that has been colonized by the Portuguese primarily, also had in its indigenous populations, and some of the biggest diasporas in the world are in Brazil as well. So it's a very mixed culture. We have, for example, the biggest Lebanese diaspora in the world is in Brazil. We have a huge Syrian diaspora as well. We have from really many different Arabic countries in Brazil. So you also see that in the cuisine. You will be able to find kibbeh and the falafel and all the different culinary expressions. You'll be able to find both Eastern Christians and Muslim immigrants as well. You'll be able to find mosques and the Eastern churches. So it's a country that has been shaped a lot by Arabic influences, and I think that makes it also more interesting for people of this Arabic descent that want to live in a different country, but also don't want to be, let's say, completely separated from the original culture. In any case, Brazil has a lot of different cultures. There's a lot of Japanese, a lot of Italians, a lot of Germans, a lot of people from many different countries. Makes it an extremely interesting place to live in.
Okay, but the main language is Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yes.
Portuguese, yes.
طيب البرازيل دولة استعمرت من البرتغال، واللغة الرسمية بتاعتها اللغة البرتغالية، ولكن في جاليات عربية كتير جدا زي الجالية اللبنانية والجالية اكبر جاليه لبنانيه في العالم كله موجوده في البرازيل، واكبر جاليه برضو يعني جاليات كبيره قوي سوريه موجوده في البرازيل، وناس كتيره من الميدل ايست موجودين هنا، فبناء عليه الاكل موجود عادي، وفي ناس مسلمين كتير ومسيحيين كتير موجودين هناك، فالكالتشر او الثقافه العربيه او الميدل ايست موجوده اوريدي هناك، فده هتبقى تسهل عليك ان انت تروح تتعامل هناك. Plus the Portuguese, do we have the English languages يعني available for most of them, or we need to
it's going to be mostly in the more touristic areas, the areas where you have more foreigners. For example, it's going to be easier to use English in Rio de Janeiro than it is in the interior if they want to live in a smaller town. So if they want more English access, they should focus on maybe São Paulo, maybe Rio. There's some areas where Spanish is also more spoken. So, for example, in Florianopolis, there's some cities that have a lot of Argentinians, so that you can also use Spanish. But easiest will be Portuguese. Then second will be either English or Spanish, depending on the area.
I think most of Latin America are talking Portuguese, not Spanish, or they are talking. Oh wait, all of them are talking Spanish, except
Exactly.
talking Portuguese.
We're the only ones that speak Portuguese in Latin America. We're the exception.
كل امريكا اللاتينيه بتتكلم اسباني ما عدا البرازيل لان هي اكبر اصلا دوله فيهم هي بتتكلم برتغالي. Okay for the but learning Portuguese, I think it can take 6 months to 1 year. You will be perfect in Portuguese by 2 online meeting every 2 hour every week or something like this. You can start talking like this. Not a big issue. Yeah. Okay, sir.
Yeah, the Brazilians are very friendly. They'll be glad to help you learn. So yeah, this is a country that again has a lot to see and do. Rio de Janeiro is one of the most incredible cities in the entire continent. You have a lot of colonial, beautiful towns across the country. You have a lot of natural beauty, like in terms of beaches, islands, archipelagos, and even one of the biggest waterfalls in the world. So really, in terms of lifestyle, this is a country that has much more to offer in comparison to other destinations that are usually discussed in the immigration space. Like, let's say, no shade on them, but let's say like Malta or Panama or Cyprus, nice countries for residency, but in terms of lifestyle, doesn't compare.
Okay. Again, because I was bringing Malta last this month, but again, Malta is not to live in Malta. Although you can live in Malta, but you can
get residency
as a gate to Europe,
Exactly.
also like this a hub for you. But here the places to visit in Brasilia is and the lifestyle is great. هو هنا بيتكلم على الاماكن اللي بتتزار في البرازيل، إن هي بلد كبيره جدا وفيها اماكن حلوه كتيره جدا تتراح، واللايف ستايل بتاعها كويس جدا، فانت تقدر تعيش وتتفسح وتعيش وتتبسط فيها في اماكن كثيره كويسه بالمقارنه ببلاد تانية. Okay, sir, let's continue. Thank you.
All right, so why Brazil in particular, right? There's a few geoeconomic considerations that make it an interesting destination. First of all, it is the biggest economy in all of South America, one of the biggest in the world as well, right? It's one of the main regional hubs. So when you go to South America, often you will pass through São Paulo, right? It's one of the main connecting hubs. It's one of the main financial hubs. And it has some very interesting immigration laws. So first of all, there is a path to immediate permanent residency, whereas most of the other countries in the region will grant you a temporary residency first. Here, there's a way to get immediate permanent residency. There are paths for real estate investment, right? So you don't necessarily have to get involved in a business. If you just want to have a beach house, if you want to have, a vacation home that then you're going to Airbnb, that is a possibility. And Brazil is also very generous with the family inclusion, with the ability to include your dependents. So that's also something that we can consider here as one of the main factors.
تمام جريت. اوكي طب انا بس بترجم تاني يا جماعه، فالشباب اللي معانا بترجم لكم بالعربي، كل سلايد هو بيقولها انا بترجم بالعربي. احنا هنا كل الهدف المره دي ان احنا بنتكلم على البرازيل، الهجره والاقامه في البرازيل عن طريق الاستثمار. المره الجايه هنتكلم عن طريق الولاده، المره اللي بعدها عن طريق البيرث ديجيتال نوماد وهكذا. في كل مره هنتكلم على البرازيل في توبيك كامل لمده ساعه، بنشرح فيه البروجرام الموجود وبنشرح فيه بعربي وانجليزي الفكره كلها. تمام. فهنا الراجل بيقول لك ان دي اكبر اقتصاد في امريكا اللاتينيه كلها، بيديك immediate permanent residence، يعني بيديك اقامه دائمه من اول لحظه. الدول الثانيه بتديك اقامه مؤقته. طريق العقار او ريل ست تقدر تشتري شقه عقاريه في مكان وتاخد بيها الاقامه، وده برضو يساعدك ان انت ممكن تشتري شقه على البحر وتاجرها في اير بي ام بي فتكسب منها فلوس، وفي نفس الوقت تاخد بيها الإقامة أو الجنسية أو هكذا. وفي نفس الوقت مع الفاميلي أنت بتدخل العيلة كلها مع الفاميلي والأولاد. تمام. أوكي ثير let's continue please.
Perfect. Brazil also has a few interesting topics. One of the main ones is Brazil's integration into the regional blocks, right? So Brazil has both flight access to Europe, to Africa, to North America, to Latin America, and it's a member of two interesting blocks. It's a member of Mercosur, which is the Community of the South American countries, and it's a member of the CPLP, which is the Community of the Portuguese-speaking countries. And why do I mention this? Because if you get citizenship in Brazil eventually, if you spend the time to get the passport, you become a citizen of Mercosur and of CPLP. So it means you can get residency, you or your family, and move to almost all of South America without having to invest, without having to show income. You can just show that you're a Brazilian citizen, and then you can apply for Mercosur residency. I'm a Brazilian. I have residency currently in Chile, in Paraguay, and in Colombia, and I haven't had to invest a single cent, just the fees for the residency, but not a real investment, because I'm a Mercosur citizen. And same thing, Brazil also has this ease with the Portuguese-speaking countries. So for Portugal, the most important, but also Cabo Verde, for Mozambique, for Angola, all of these countries, there is a facilitated path for citizens of Brazil. So basically, it is a plan B that if you secure it, it also unlocks to you a plan C, D, E, F, G, H, because you have over 10 countries from these different blocks that you get access to with the Brazilian citizenship.
So with the Brazilian citizenship or passport, I can go to Portugal, يعني, and I have resident in Portugal. So it open also a residency for Europe, all Europe, or only Portugal, or what?
No, it's there's a facilitated residency path for Portugal, and then I mean, if you are a Portuguese resident,
Yes,
then
so
you
have
also
all
have
legal entity. Okay. طيب هو هنا بيتكلم ان البرازيل جزء من ساوث امريكا، الجزء امريكا اللاتينيه تحت. فوانس ان انت معاك باسبور او جنسيه برازيليه، تقدر تخش الدول دي كلها وتاخد اقامه فيها من غير ما تدفع فيها فلوس. فدي بتبقى يعني البرازيل بلان بي بالنسبه لك، او بلان الثانيه. فبلان ثالثه ورابعه وخمسه بلاد كتيره قوي، 9 10 دول ممكن تخشهم. البرتغال نفس الكلام، تبقى عندك اكسس لاقامه ليها. فلو دخلت برضه اقامه البرتغال هتاخد اقامه اوروبا الشنجن اريا كلها. فهي عشان ضمن الدول اللي في امريكا اللاتينيه وضمن الدول اللي بتتكلم باللغه البرتغاليه، فانت عندك اكسس للدول دي لو معاك جنسيه برازيليه. اوكي سير.
All right, so let's get into the details now, into the different paths, and then Julie will be also joining me here on the details. But basically, we have two main paths for residency. You can invest in a Brazilian business, or you can invest in Brazilian real estate. If you invest in a business, you can get immediate permanent residency. The thresholds are the ones above: 150,000 for tech startup companies, 500,000 if you invest as an individual, 600,000 if you use a foreign company to invest. How much is this? Basically, the real is like 5.10 to the dollar at this point. So 500,000 would be like $90,000. $150,000 would be like $35,000, around this amount. Again, family members can then later be included, but Julia will inform you how this process looks like. And then after 4 years of permanent residency, you can apply for citizenship. Whereas on the real estate route, you get first a temporary.
Wait.
Go on.
Let's finish this one again. So it's we get immediate. If it is in business, real estate will give you temporary residency, but business will give you immediate permanent residency. Okay, we have three times. How much is the Brazilian currency compared to dollar? How much is $1?
About $1 is 5.10 Brazilian real. You can do your head math.
$1 is 5. One is 5.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's the 150,000 Brazilian is $50,000, right?
No, $35,000.
30. So I can spend $30,000 in a tech startup, okay, and get immediate visa, right? 30,000.
Yes.
يبقى ب $30,000 ممكن تستثمر في ستارت اب تكنولوجي هناك، وتاخد اقامه دائمه انت وبعدين عيالك، وبعدين تاخد الجنسيه بعد 4 سنين ب $30,000 في البرازيل. وده هنا بتاخد immediate اقامه. اوكي. الدولار ب5 برازيليان كرنسي او العمله بتاعها. اوكي. Another one which is individual productive. What is this kind of business? I make my own company or what? Individual.
Yeah, you can either make your own company or invest in an existing Brazilian company. Then here,
any other company, not technology, not startup technology, any other company.
Exactly. You can invest in regular Brazilian companies, and then if you invest you, Dr. Mahmoud, invest, then it's 500,000. If you have a company and you use this company to invest in a Brazilian company, then it's 600,000.
اوكي سو لو انا عندي داخل جوه شركه في البرازيل او عملت شركه جوه البرازيل، بدات شركه جديده جوه البرازيل، هدفع 500 الف من العمله بتاعتهم. لو قسمناها على خمسه اللي هم 100,000 دولار. This is 500. It's again it's 100,000 دولار right.
Yeah,
اوكي
about.
لو انا عندي شركه من بره وداخل بيها البرازيل، if I have my own company outside Brazil and I want to go to Brazil, I'll go for 600,000 which will be
Exactly. Like 100,
how many 100
120.
120 120 يعني 120 ألف دولار. يبقى so it start with $30,000 if a startup or $100,000 if any company inside Brazil or $120,000 if I bring my own company from outside Brazil to inside Brazil, and I will get immediate resident and my family will be included, and after 4 years I will get the citizenship. So بعد 4 سنين هتاخد الجنسيه، عيلتك هتخش معاك، هتاخد الاقامه من اول يوم سواء دفعت 30,000 دولار لو شركه ستارت اب، 100,000 دولار لو اي شركه داخليه، 120,000 دولار لو جبت شركتك ودخلت بيها البرازيل. فهتاخد الاقامه الدائمه، بعد 4 سنين هتاخد الجنسيه. اوكي this is very clear, very good one and
Perfect.
this is very cheap. يعني starting by 30,000 this is very good one.
Yes, yes, it's very, very affordable. And again, like the next slide, we're going to get into more details
Good
on
word.
the
You
business
said affordable.
sector
It's
and
not cheap. It's affordable. Yes, good. It's affordable for anybody. Yes.
yes, it's affordable.
Yes.
And then the other main route is the real estate investor. So this is a temporary residency first, 4 years temporary residency. Then after the 4 years, you can convert it to a permanent residency.
Okay.
You have to invest 700,000 if it's in the north or northeast region. Again, orange or green, 700,000. And then the other 3 regions would be 1 million in Brazilian reais. So this is about $200,000, and this is about like $130,000. Again, family members can be included. However, the citizenship is after 4 years of permanent residency, so the path will be about 8 years total.
Okay. طب يعني so but now this little expensive and 8 years is too much, but again the businesses will be much better for this one. اوكي سو هنا بيقول عن طريق الريال استيت العقار هتاخد اقامه مؤقته لمده 4 سنين، بعدها هتاخد الاقامه الدايمه، ثم بعد 4 سنين من الاقامه الدايمه يعني توتال هيبقوا 8 سنين هتاخد الجنسيه. بس هنا عشان تشتري عقار لازم تدفع 700,000 من العمله البرازيليه في المنطقة الشمالية أو الشمال الشرقي اللي هي كانت برتقاني والأخضر، أو تدفع 1,000,000 في المناطق التانية. 1,000,000 يعني 200,000 من العملة، نقسم على 5 يعني 200,000. يا إما قلنا 700 لو قسمنا على 5 مش عارف هيطلعوا كام ناسي، بس المليون هيبقوا 200,000. يعني التانية هتبقى 150 مثلا، 150,000 دولار ل 200,000 دولار. اوكي when you will send me this presentation please I want you to transfer to put the Brazilian currency and the US dollar يعني equal يعني 1 million equal $200,000. Okay.
200 and here 100 and 130. Yes.
100.
We'll do it for the upload later
So we
on.
have two ways.
So-
Go back please. Go back again please. في طريقتين، طريقة البيزنس وطريقة العقار. طريقة البيزنس ممكن تعمل شركة ستارت اب بسيطة جدا ب 30,000 دولار، تاخد إقامة دائمة في ساعتها، وبعد 4 سنين تاخد جنسية أنت ومراتك وعيالك كلهم. يا إما 100,000 دولار تعمل أي شركة عندهم، يا إما 120,000 دولار تجيب شركتك من بره وتخش بيها البرازيل. ساعتها برضه هتاخد إقامة دائمة، وبعد 4 سنين معاك جنسية. وقلنا لو معاك جنسية تقدر تخش أي دولة تاني مفيش أي مشكلة فيها. الطريقة التانية هي العقارات، انك مش عايز تعمل شركة، لا خلاص اشتري عقار جاهز بدل الشركة. قلنا الشركة ب 30,000 دولار او 100,000 دولار او 120,000 دولار، لكن العقارية، الإقامة العقارية بتشتري بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سوري بس انا بس معلش I'm muting people. اوكي الإقامة العقارية بتشتري شقة ب 130,000 دولار او 100 الى 700,000 من العمله بتاعتهم، اقسم على 5، او في المنطقه اي منطقه تانية هتبقى بمليون من العمله بتاعتهم. فتاني المليون هيبقى 200,000 دولار. بس ساعتها تاخد اقامه مؤقته 4 سنين، وبعد 4 سنين تاخد اقامه دائمه لمده 4 سنين تانيين، توتال 8 سنين عشان تاخد جنسيه. فالاسهل هتبقى هنا الاقامه العقاريه. الموجود انا مش عارف مين اللي سال everyone. هل طريق مختصر بدل الأربع سنين؟ هل يوجد okay is there any other way more than the 4 years يعني can I go for the citizenship immediately from the beginning with higher money or something?
No.
No other way. I must pass by 4 years.
So, but basically, there is a way. If you there's a few ones. If you are originally a citizen of a Portuguese-speaking country, it would be 1 year of permanent residency. But then again, not going to be the majority of the audience.
Yeah.
Then, if you have a Brazilian kid, if you give birth in Brazil, and this will be the topic of the webinar on birth tourism, then you as the parent can apply for citizenship in just 1 year. So basically, if you would buy a property in Brazil, you used to get residency, you go to Brazil, then you give birth there, then the kid is Brazilian, you as the parent can apply for citizenship in 1 year. That is an option.
Okay.
Then there is also the option.
Let's talk about this option first. Then So الاسبوع الجاي هنتكلم على السياحه بالولاده هناك. لما يبقى عندك طفل مولود في البرازيل خلال سنه ممكن تقدم عليه، بس عشان تقدم على طفل مولود للبرازيل دي هنقولها من الاسبوع الجاي ان شاء الله. تاني هم بيعملوا الاجراءات كلها كل حاجه. هتروح الاول هناك تشتري شقه، فتاخد اقامه مؤقته، فتخلف ابنك هناك، فلما تخلف ابنك تقوم خلال سنه مقدم على الجنسيه. فاحنا هنتكلم في الموضوع ده الاسبوع الجاي ان شاء الله رب العالمين. is a full meeting for this ان شاء الله. Okay, so this is what, or you be if you are a citizen of any other Portuguese country, so you go for 1 year also, right?
Yes, if you're originally a citizen of a Portuguese-speaking country, yes. And then there is also one other route, but then this one is very rare, which is the merit-based one, which is if you are deemed to have done a great artistic or scientific or philanthropic service to Brazil, then it would be 2 years of residency. But this one is very, very exceptional. You have to have done great contributions. But the main one is if you have a kid in Brazil or you marry a Brazilian citizen, 1 year path to citizenship.
So if you have a kid or marry a Brazilian citizen، يعني اما تخلف ابن في البرازيل، يا اما تتجوز واحده برازيليه. تمام، ما بجيبش انا عرايس. I'm not bringing Brazilian wives. Okay, you go and get your own Brazilian wife and you go and get your own son. Okay. فيا تتجوز واحده برازيليه، تخلف ولد برازيلي، ساعتها الاجراءات هتاخد سنه بس. اوكي. عشان تاخد الجنسيه. تمام. بس تاني ساعتها لازم يكون الاول معاك الاقامه. Before he get birth for this, we will talk next week. But before he get birth for his kid, he must have a temporary residency first, right?
No, he can go in as a tourist. The problem is that the only people that can go in as tourists to Brazil without needing a visa first would be Moroccans, Tunisians, and if I recall correctly, Qataris and Emiratis. But most Arabs cannot. Like Egyptians need to request a visa. Saudis have to request a visa.
So if he go by visa, tourist visa, and he get birth there for his kid, the kids automatically will be a Brazilian. Then he can apply. Yeah, Julia.
Yes. But the thing is that something that you guys have to know is that most consulates abroad, when they see a very well pregnant woman, they tend not to actually give a tourist visa straight away.
Yeah.
So the right path here would be to get another type of visa, like Francisco said, as in starting by investing. And then the beautiful day your wife is pregnant of your child, then you can actually travel to Brazil and then give birth over there.
Okay, so normally we will go for the temporary visa by real estate. You get a temporary visa. Within this, if your wife get pregnant, we will not stay 4 years. We will apply immediately after the kids and finish in 1 year, right?
You would have to apply after 1 year of residency after the child is born, and you have to remain in the country while you're applying for the citizenship, which means that in practice the child would be born. From that day onward, you would have to stay about 2 years in the country.
Okay, stay. يعني minimum stay 2 years. I cannot leave and come back or something.
You can leave for holidays, but you cannot leave more than 3 months per year.
Yes, great. Okay.
Yeah.
طيب تاني، لو انت بتقدم على فيزا سياحيه ولقوا مراتك حامل كده مش هيرضوا يدوها لك. لكن لو دخلت على هناك بفيزا مؤقته، انك اشتريت عقار واخدت الفيزا المؤقته وبعدين خلفت طفل هناك، فلازم تقعد بالطفل ده سنه وبعدين تقدم على الاجراءات اللي هتاخد سنه. يعني حرفيا هياخد الموضوع معاك سنتين. فسنتين من سنه اول ما الطفل اتولد وسنه في الاجراءات. So it's 2 years actually. 1 year after the kid's birth, then 1 year for the procedure to finish, right? So
Exactly.
4 years.
Roughly, it would be it. Yes, it would be
Okay.
roughly 2 years. Yeah.
اوكي بس السنتين اللي هتقعدهم دول بدل ما تقعد 4 سنين اقامه مؤقته، هتقعد سنتين بس، لان انت خلفت ولد برازيلي، فهتقعد سنتين بس، سنه بعد الولاده وسنه لل بعد الولاده سنه للاجراءات، هتبقوا سنتين مش 4. وفي نفس الوقت هنا ما ينفعش في السنه دي تطلع بره البلد اكتر من، يعني ما ينفعش تسيب اكتر من 3 شهور، فلازم تبقى عايش في البلد السنتين دول لو انت هتاخد جنسيه. وطبعا قلنا لو اخدت جنسيه هتفتح لك الدول الثانيه، يعني البرتغال وغيرها وامريكا اللاتينيه، انت تبقى معاك اقامه فيهم كلهم. اوكي. لا ما بنعملش اجراءات دخول البرازيل، انت قدم على فيزا وخدها، ما بنعملش اجراءات الفيزا احنا. اوكي. اوكي سير continue please.
Perfect. So now to just get more into details on the business investor pathway, I would like, Julia, there are many things that people must understand, especially when it comes to the business investment. How could they qualify for the lower investment? Because they can hear that it's a startup and think, okay, I'm just going to open a company, say it's a tech company, and then I'm going to invest less. Not necessarily how it works. And also on the inclusion of family, right? How that process works okay, what is the order of factors here?
Okay.
Yeah, completely. So, Mohammed, you tell me when I have to stop, because this is going to be a lot of information. Okay.
يعني I tell you something. You go inside and you
Okay.
I will let you know. I will let you know. Okay.
Okay, no problem. So this.
I'm Mahmoud, not Muhammad. Okay. I know Muhammad is much more, but I'm Mahmoud. Okay. That's okay.
Sorry.
Ahmed, Mahmoud, Muhammad, all are is one. like you know, Mo Salah, like Neymar.
Mahmoud, sorry.
We have Mo Salah, Muhammad Salah. Okay, thank you.
Sorry. Okay, so let's get to it. So this business path is super interesting. We're going to start with the 150,000 reais, Brazilian reais, because it's one that's very understated. It's quite new. There haven't been a lot of applicants to it, but again, it's the lowest threshold, which means that for, your kind of income, it would be interesting. It's very accessible. Now, in terms of requirements, we want the business you're going to invest into to be what we call an innovation business. Okay. It has to be an innovation business, as in it has to be very unique on the market. It has to have a social or public health impact in Brazil. It has to hire Brazilian nationals. Basically, what they want to see is that you're going to inject money in a place, in a business that's going to do something for good for Brazilian nationals. So you're investing your money, but you're also investing for the country, and you're helping people, and you may also have actually a return on your own investment, which is great. Now, what we aim at is mostly science and health-related businesses, because they're more interesting in terms of social impact, and they hire a lot more people, and they have a much better longevity. This is a very important point. Why? Because your residency here, even though it might be permanent from scratch, is going to be conditioned to the business health, which means the business plan, the execution of it, has to follow through with your residency. So if at some point the business plan crashes, there is a review after your first 3 years of residency, you could lose your residency. There is a risk to it, okay? So you would invest a very low amount of money, but you could also lose it and lose the residency if you don't pick the business right. And this is one of the main points of our teamwork, to, create funnels to the right businesses that are going to be sustainable enough so they can stay on the market long enough for you to access citizenship at some point. Okay, that's the main thing here.
Wait for this. So لازم تعمل بزنس 150,000 عملة بتاعتهم، يعني $30,000 مبلغ مش قليل، مش كتير، بس انت لازم يكون في استمرارية للبزنس ده. ما ينفع في ريفيو ليك بعد 3 سنين، فلو لقوا البزنس كراش او باظ او وقف، فلا انت ممكن تخسر الإقامة بتاعتك وتخسر كمان الفلوس اللي دفعتها. لازم يكون البزنس ليه تأثير صحي او مفيد للدولة نفسها والبرازيليين نفسهم، عشان يستفيدوا هم بيهم وانت كمان تستفيد. مش اي بزنس وخلاص، فلازم البزنس يكون كويس وبيكسب وناجح والموضوع. Are you helping in the business plan or the review the business case or something?
Yes, it is completely part of the job. Usually those businesses do have a business plan. We take that business plan and then we modify it according to how the investment is going to be used. Something else, the investor can be passive, can be someone who's going to just become a shareholder and not have any role in the business. But we have to show how the business is going to use that money to hire somebody from abroad, for example, to to invest into material in terms of sciences as well. Could be a lot of different things. But usually that kind of amount, 150,000 Brazilian reais, is a lot easier applicable to sciences as well, again.
يعني انت تاني، لا هم عندهم جزء بيراجع البيزنس بلان، وبناخد البيزنس بلان بتاعتك ونظبطها بحيث ان هي تمشي مع الاجراءات بتاعتهم عن طريقهم. فبناء عليه حتى لو انت باسيف انكم او حاطط فلوس بس، سوري باسيف انفستور حاطط فلوس بس، هتعين واحد تاني هو اللي يدير البروجكت ويعمل المشروع بحيث ان الموضوع يشتغل. احنا قلنا في حاجه ب 150 وفي حاجه اب تو 500 $100,000 ل $120,000. So again هعمل شركة واشتغل بيها. Okay. So but all the industry are open. I can do any business whatever I want as long as it is working with the country.
So this is a question of threshold. For the 150,000 Brazilian reais threshold, it has to be innovation. So technology or sciences.
Okay.
Specifically.
So innovation here, it could be innovation not yet available in Brazil, but it's available in US and Europe. For example, maybe Uber not yet open in Brazil. I will make the new Uber in Brazil, in a Brazilian name.
Yes,
Okay.
but then the Brazilian business will have to have a Brazilian executive board and Brazilian employees. We cannot just open a filial from a company that's based abroad. It has to be Brazilian.
I like the idea from Europe or from USA, so I make a Brazilian idea for this, and I hire people from Brazil to work the business.
Yeah,
so,
that could be it.
That's why I mentioned that I don't need to create something from the space. No, just you find something that's available yet in Brazil and or even available in Brazil and make it faster, better, or anything like this, right?
Well, it is one of the criteria, but it's not the only one. When we talk about innovation, the business has to be backed up by government programs, startup programs as well. There is a lot of criteria to respond to, so that's why we select the businesses. We usually, talk with universities, academics, and then we do that with them in general. Yeah.
Basically, if the person has an idea and has a business that they want to do, we can validate it. But for most cases, it will be easier if we present to them companies that already exist and qualify based on the existing criteria, right?
It is much more reliable.
If they want to do a more passive route,
they buy the company.
Can do. No, they invest in the company.
Invest يعني he buys some share in the company.
Exactly.
Okay. طب هو بيقول لك لو انت عندك فكره لازم تكون فكره ابداعيه جديده طبعا او تقول لهم حاجه كده. لو دخلت بال 150,000 عمله بتاعتهم اللي هو $30,000 او تعمل بقى شركه ثانيه فتبقى شركه دي توظف ناس. لكن عشان تاخد الاقل مبلغ اللي هو ال $30,000 لازم تكون فكره ابداعيه. طب لو انت ما عندكش افكار، هم بيعرضوا عليك افكار لشركات موجوده اوريدي وشغاله وماشيه متوافقه مع الدوله، فانت بتشتري اسهم في الشركه دي. So he become an investor in this company, buying share in this company that you recommend, and he just get his interest or his profit every year, and that's it. He don't.
Yes, exactly.
He don't work in this company. He just be an investor, silent investor, getting his profit. That's it. You explain to him many options, and he choose which option is good for him, right?
Well, he chooses the company, but the company also chooses him. The company has to also, of course, choose the investors according to where the money come from, and a lot of different things. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So تاني هم بيعرضوا عليك شركات موجودة، وانت بتختار الشركة اللي تعجبك، وبرضه الشركة بتوافق عليك او ما توافقش. تمام. فبناء عليه نقدر نقيم الموضوع. تمام. Okay فهم. Okay, continue please.
Amazing. And in terms of the family, so Brazil has a very, very big values with family in general, which is great news, which means that people can bring out their direct family, which usually includes children, obviously, spouses, and parents in some cases. Parents or family from, their brothers and sisters. But then for those kind of family members, you would have to show some sort of financial dependency, for example. Okay. But direct family is always included.
Cover them or show their own money. I show that I have money to cover.
You can show that they're financially dependent on you and that they're going to rely on you while in Brazil. And in that case, you can just bring them over. Just have to show that you can sustain them.
Okay. But for the father and mother and father-in-law and mother-in-law, it's already available, right?
It would be available if they're over 60 years old, and again, if they're financially dependent on you. If we cannot show that they're financially dependent, it's going to be a little bit tough.
اوكي سو برضه ممكن تجيب العيله كلها عادي طبعا، اولاد والزوجه، ولو الاب والام فوق 60 سنه تقدر تجيبهم عادي وتثبت ان هم معتمدين عليك ماليا. لو الاخ والاخت عايز تجيبهم برضه لازم تثبت ان انت هم معتمدين عليك ماليا عشان نقدم عليهم وممكن يتقدم. اوكي جريت كونتينيو.
Amazing. I guess we can move to the other investor pathway.
Yes.
Fran?
So we have now the real estate investor pathway, which I think is important to mention here when we discuss the family in particular, that the family will get the status of whatever the main applicant has the status of. So if you do the business investor, the family will do the family reunification and will become permanent residents. Whereas if you do the real estate investor, the family will do the family reunification and will become temporary resident.
For 4 years, then 4 year permanent, then total 8 years to get the citizenship.
Exactly. We would have to switch from temporary to permanent for everyone in that case.
I think if somebody need real estate, he can just start first with the startup visa and get permanent. Then he buy a smaller if he need property or something, he can just get the permanent visa by $30,000 for startup. Okay, then he apply for a normal flat, small flat or something to get resident. It's too much money to go for this if you have the other way. Okay. Process we said
Exactly.
3 to 6 months process for the real estate.
Yeah, so this one is a lot less complex and involves a lot less risk than the business investor visa.
Yeah, because it is you will pay the money, you will buy, you get temporary visa already.
Exactly. As long as you're a landlord, you're eligible. So it's more a question of administrative process rather than eligibility in itself. The process is shorter for that time. And as Francisco said, sorry, go on.
No, I cannot sell the property as long as I stay. After at least after 4 years maybe, or what?
Well, usually your visa is tied to the legal basis of it. So if you stop being the owner, you would have to give up on your visa, basically. You would have to remain the owner of the property to remain eligible.
If I finish the first 4 temporary years and I get the permanent visa for another 4 years, can I sell after the permanent visa?
Whenever you get permanent residency, yes, you can sell, but in general, they would expect you to remain the owner again. Yes, for any type of visa.
We give you the permanent visa, you should have something. Either you have. Wait. I start by the startup visa for $30,000. So I have a permanent visa, and then I buy anything, so I can buy and sell no problem. But because I have another way, which is startup visa. Yeah. Okay. خلاص. So I will translate only بس. لو اشتريت شقة هتمشي في المجال العقاري هتقعد 4 سنين، وبعد لازم تفضل الشقة معاك 4 سنين عشان تفضل معاك الإقامة. ولو بعد أخدت الإقامة الدائمة برضه هم متوقعين إن تفضل معاك ستيل ال4 سنين لغاية لما تاخد الجنسية، فأتليست هتفضل معاك الشقة 8 سنين عشان تاخد الجنسية. لكن تاني أنت ممكن تخش في الستارت اب فيزا ب $30,000 وتعمل المشروع، تاخد بيرمننت اقامه دائمه على طول من اول كده في خلال 4 سنين بس، وتكمل بيها لغايه الجنسيه 4 سنين. اوكي. So it real estate is 3 to 6 months, and the investment how many times it takes, how many months?
6 to 9 months.
6 to 9.
Yes.
اوكي. طب العقار من 3 ل 6 شهور عشان سهل، هتشتري شقه عقار تاخد اقامه مؤقته 4 سنين ثم 4 سنين تانيين، وقلنا ان يا اما بحوالي 170 او 150 الف دولار لغايه 200 الف دولار تشتري عقار حسب المنطقه. لكن الثانيه اللي هو البيزنس هتبقى من 6 شهور ل 9 شهور، من 6 ل 9 شهور، لان عشان طبعا البيزنس بلان والبروجكت بتاعك او تخش في شركه وهكذا، وبتاخد اقامه immediate permanent visa. Okay, so thank you. Continue please.
Perfect. Julia, anything else on this slide?
No.
Not on this one, I think. No. Oh, so maybe something that's important to know. You cannot invest into all kind of properties. So, for example, a lot of people come up to Brazil and want to buy naked land. A naked land, you could potentially buy it according to the state laws, but it wouldn't make you eligible for that visa. You would have to buy something in a urban area that is being built or built already. Naked land and rural land do not work.
I don't know what is the naked land and the rural
Like
land.
land without any buildings on it, just
Land.
you know, just
Land.
land. Yeah.
No, he just buy property, right? He must
Yeah.
buy property, something built, a flat or a villa or house or town, something like this.
Exactly.
Buy
It doesn't have to be built already, but it must be in the building process, right? You can buy, let's say, a new build from a developer that's, you know, not ready yet, but you can't just buy land with no project in it.
Okay, if I buy a property that's not yet finished and I will receive it after 1 year or 2 years and I pay by installment.
It would be possible, but only once you have the deed of the property. We have to show full ownership registered for you to be eligible for the visa. So if you were to pay in 24 times in 2 years and you don't have the deed yet, you wouldn't be able to apply yet.
Okay, you know, because some country like Dubai in Middle East, if you buy and pay the first deposit of 10-20%, then you pay money for 2-3 years till you receive it. You can apply for the golden visa for 10 years for this one, but it's not ended by citizenship. Okay. so here you have to buy لازم تشتري وحدة عقارية. لو بتدفع اقساط لما تاخدها وتبقى ملكك تماما تقدم على الإقامة المؤقتة 4 سنين. بعد الإقامة المؤقتة 4 سنين تاخد إقامة دائمة 4 سنين ثم جنسية. فتوتال 8 سنين بالعقار في البرازيل تاخد جنسية وتقدر تبقى معاك إقامة في البرتغال وأمريكا اللاتينية كلها ما فيش مشكلة. اوكي بليز.
All right, so again, what makes Brazil very interesting here? You have a route that has direct permanent residency. Once you have permanent residency, to keep it, you only have to be in Brazil 1 day every 2 years. So you don't necessarily even have to live if you want to keep the residency.
1 day every 2 years. Wait, 1 day every 2 years.
Yes.
14 days. 14 days every 2 days. Every 2
14
years.
days every 2 years.
Sorry,
Yes. 2 weeks
14
every 2
days.
years.
2 weeks, يعني 2 weeks every 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. To keep the permanent resident visa. Yes. Okay. And the temporary
Yes.
visa. Wait, the temporary visa.
It would be the same rule.
2 weeks every.
Yeah, it's investor residency is the same.
So again يعني عشان once أخدت الإقامة سواء المؤقتة بالعقار أو الدائمة بالبزنس لازم تقعد أسبوعين خلال سنتين. فهم توتال 4 سنين، كل سنتين تقعد أسبوعين وأسبوعين، توتال شهر في 4 سنين. So it's 1 month in 4 years, 2 weeks and in 2 years and 2 weeks in another 2 years to get the temporary visa, then go for the another 4 years of permanent visa and finally get the citizenship. Okay. I'm revising so I can remember. Okay. Thank you. Continue, please.
Okay, and then again, family can be included. There's a clear citizenship path. It's not some countries where it's not clear if they will ever get citizenship at all. Brazil is a country that has a history of naturalizing people from many different nationalities. Of course, as long as they spend the necessary time, as long as they don't commit criminal deeds in the country. But overall, it has a clear path to citizenship. The investments are clear. There's an established process. You can fully own the property, right? Unlike some countries in Asia, where you have to have a lease for 90 years or something like this. In Brazil, you can fully own the companies. You can fully own the real estate. You don't need to necessarily have this complicated, convoluted ways of owning the things indirectly. And again, this is a great base for you to do business and also have life across Latin America in general, right? You don't have to be restricted to Brazil. From Brazil, you can get a 2-hour flight to Paraguay, to Uruguay, to Argentina. It's 4 or 5 hours to Chile. It's relatively great base to access all of the southern cone, really.
Okay, so again, it's a clear pathway. It's once I get the permanent visa or permanent residency or temporary, it cannot be cancelled as long as I have the business or I have the real estate. It cannot be cancelled by the government. For example, Brazil have a problem with my own country, so they cancel the visa for everybody. Is that could be happen?
Hardly.
Really rare.
Hardly, but there is a reciprocity treatment, which means if, whatever country start treating Brazilians like X,
Uh,
Brazil might also treat those citizens like X.
I know,
completely.
but they will treat the new coming people by X. But now I already have a permanent visa for Brasilia, so I should not be having any risk that I will lose this as long as I keep the business or I keep the residency.
As long as your legal basis right now, as long as the legal base of the residency is accurate and current, it's not a problem at all. That could change later on, but as of now, it's not the project for Brazil.
اوكي. فتاني دلوقتي انت وانس ان انت معاك اقامه سواء اقامه مؤقته 4 سنين بالعقار ثم تحصل على الاقامه الدائمه 4 سنين تانيين تاخد الجنسيه، ما فيش حد هيقدر ياخد منك الاقامه دي او يلغيها از لونج از ان انت معاك العقار او كده، او لو اخدت الاقامه الدائمه عن طريق البيزنس طالما البيزنس شغال برضو الموضوع معاك، من حقك تاخد الاقامه زي سوري تشتري شقه كلها بفلوسك وفي نفس الوقت البيزنس كله بفلوسك، مفيش مشكله. The properties that I buy at the real estate, I can rent it and get the money, right?
Yes, you could. Yeah.
So the money here in the real estate is a source of income that it will bring me money every year or something, and by time after 8 years the property price will increase also. So I'm saving good money also. So انت هنا
Yes, you could resell definitely. Yeah.
لما بتشتري عقار تقدر تأجره فتكسب فلوس بشكل مستمر، وفي نفس الوقت بعد 8 سنين لما تاخد الجنسية عايز تبيعه هتكسب فيه برضه لأنه هيكون زي السعر. Okay, great. Thank you. Continue, please.
Great. So again, we have to think of the timeline process, how it works. So first of all, most important, structuring due diligence. You mentioned you want to have property valuation, and we have to really see where the investment is going to be done. If we're going to do for a business, then is it going to be a startup? Is it going to be a regular business? Does the person have a plan, or are we looking for a local company for them? What's the risk profile? Same thing for the property. Will they want to Airbnb it? Will they want to get a long-term rental? Will they want to use it themselves? So we really need to first really structure and do the due diligence on the investment options. Then we'll do the investment, and of course there's going to be some bureaucracy here, right, to send the money to Brazil. So we're going to have to do an international transaction to get the funds there. The person is going to have to get their CPF, which is their tax number in Brazil, usually to get a non-resident account if they're going to need a Brazilian account first for the transaction. But all of this will be included, of course, in our service, in our support. But so we're going to do the investment, then we're going to do the application filing. Then again, process will depend if we're going to do business, if we're going to do the real estate, which one will be faster. Once the residency is issued, then they're already starting to count their time towards either the permanent residency if they buy property, or towards the citizenship if they do the business. And then once they have the appropriated time, we can initiate the citizenship application. Again, appropriated time is they have to spend under the 4 years path 3 years out of those 4 years inside Brazil, right? So they shouldn't be absent for more than 3 months per year on average. If they have a kid, of course, then it would be 9 months out of 1 year in Brazil of the permanent residency. And they will have to learn Portuguese, right? So this is an important point. It's not just the presence, it's also really learning to a conversational level. They have to do the CELPE-BRAS exam, and that's going to be, let's say, about a B2 equivalent, which if they're going to spend that time in Brazil, then they're probably going to learn anyway. But it's important for them to know that beforehand. And then Julia, also, later, if you have any other comments.
If you go for citizenship, he must learn Portuguese, okay? And he should spend 3 years from the 4 years permanent. Inside.
Basically, exactly. So the rule to maintain residency in general, you have to visit 14 days within 2 years the country.
So
once you
I maintain, but I will not be eligible for the citizenship unless I leave for 3 years.
Yeah. In order to be eligible for citizenship, you need to show very strong ties with Brazil. So your center of interest is in the country, and then that you're spending more than 9 months per year in the country as well.
I cannot spend more than 9 days outside the country.
No. You cannot spend more than 3 months per year abroad. You will have to stay
Abroad,
more
yeah,
than
yeah,
9 months
9 months,
in the
9 months
country.
inside, 3 months outside maximum. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can keep the permanent visa every 4 years for life if I spend only 2 weeks every 2 years. But I will not be eligible to the citizenship unless I spent 9 months every year in the last 4 years or the last
Yes.
3 years. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay. So if you have the investment and you get the permanent visa, you want to end by citizenship, you need to live in Brazil for 9 months every year for 3 years. Then you will be
Exactly. For 4. For
but
4.
for 4 years. But if you want to keep the permanent visa, you can go out and in as long as you want to stay, you will stay. But not you will not be citizenship unless you stay 9 months per year for 4 years. Okay. So عشان
Yeah.
تاخد الجنسية لازم تقعد 9 شهور في البلد، تعيش في البلد وتتعلم لغة برتغالية. لو ما تعلمش لغة برتغالية مش هينفع. لو ما عشتش في البلد 9 شهور، يعني قعدت أكتر من 9 شهور، اكتر من 3 شهور بره البلد، 4 او كده، يبقى راحت عليك. لكن هتفضل معاك الاقامه، مش تاخد جنسيه، لكن هتفضل معاك الاقامه الدائمه. ممكن تفضل الاقامه الدائمه على طول، وساعتها تقعد اسبوعين بس كل سنتين، اسبوعين. لكن مش هتقدم على جنسيه. عايز تقدم على جنسيه هتعيش 9 شهور في كل سنه لمده 4 سنين. اوكي. Great. Continue, please. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Julia, any additional comments here on the process?
Not on this one. No.
Yes.
Okay. So, right, path to citizenship, it's just as we had discussed previously. I don't think we're gonna have
Yes. اوكي. So نفس الكلام هنا. الطريقه قلنا
to spend that time in
الاقامه عن طريق
Brazil.
البيزنس او الاقامه عن طريق الريال استيت. هنا قلنا 4 سنين هتقعد فيهم او في البيزنس هتقعد لازم تقعد 9 شهور في البلد. الاقامه المؤقته 4 سنين ثم 4 سنين، وتاخد ال4 سنين الاخرانيين اللي هي البيرمننت فيزا، لازم تفضل قاعد فيهم 9 شهور في البلد عشان تكمل على الجنسيه. If you marry a Brazilian or have a child in Brazil, the time of citizenship is reduced to 1 year after 1 year from the marriage or the kids, right? So it's 2 years, actually 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years is going to be the total time considering the application as well.
2 years and I still have to learn Portuguese or no problem?
You still have to learn Portuguese.
اوكي. يبقى لو خلفت ولد او جوزت برازيلي او برازيليه، هتبقى لسه محتاج الموضوع هيخلص في سنه اجراءات، وسنه بعد الجواز او سنه بعد ال so wait, it's 1 year after marriage, then I apply for a process of 1 year, and 1 year after the kids, then apply for a process of 1 year. Okay.
Yes, it's the same thing.
So for the marriage, the marriage should last for 1 year. Then after
No.
1 year, you apply.
No, when you have kids or when you marry, you can apply for residency right away, and then after 1 year of residency, you apply. But it's not after 1 year of the kid being born. No.
No. Wait a second. I have a residency, temporary residency or something. Then I have my kid. Once I get the kid, I apply for a process of 1 year process, or I stay till the kid become 1 year. Then I will apply for a process of another year, so total 2 years.
No, the kid will be born. You will apply for permanent residency, so you make the conversion, so to say, from temporary to permanent.
Temporary to permanent.
Yeah, if you had gotten a property before, then after you complete 1 year of permanent residency, then you apply for citizenship.
Okay, and the same for the
marriage.
I get temporary, then I get married. So after I transfer the temporary to permanent visa for 1 year. After I complete 1 year of permanent visa being married, I will apply for the citizenship for another year. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So يعني تاني، لو انت معاك اقامه مؤقته وجالك طفل، هتقدم على اقامه دائمه، تقعد سنه لغايه لما تبقى عدت سنه معاك اقامه دائمه، وبعدين تقدم على جنسيه. لو برضو معاك اقامه مؤقته واتجوزت، فهتقدم على تحول لاقامه دائمه، تقعد لمده سنه، وبعدين تقدم على جنسيه، وفي الحالتين هتاخد سنه. What if I get a business route and I already start with permanent visa, then I get married or I get a kid? So I already have a permanent visa, so it will be 1 year only, or again another 2 years?
To qualify for the 1 year to qualify for the 1 year threshold to apply for citizenship, your permanent residency will have to have the legal basis of a family reunion. If you have a residency that's based on a business, it's going to remain 4 years, even though you have a child or a spouse. You need to regulate your residency to another legal basis to reduce the.
Don't worry. Next week, coming Wednesday, we'll talk about birth and marriage residency, full detail. Now we have the business route and real estate route. Business route is permanent visa. After 4 years, you get the citizenship if you stay 9 months every year for 4 years. Okay, and your business is still working. Not crash or something. Real estate is 4 years temporary residency, then convert to another 4 years permanent visa, and if you stay 9 months every year, you will go for citizenship. And in both ways, you need to learn Portuguese to get the citizenship. Okay, sir. Continue, please.
Perfect. Yeah. So just a few tips and considerations, right? Again, innovation and regular business. Startups in general go broke more often than regular businesses, right? So we're going to do all the due diligence and vetting and help you make sure you do a safe investment. But in general, these innovation companies will have more risk than established businesses, right? With established business, you can invest in companies that have been around for decades, whereas in the startups, it's probably going to be a newer company, doesn't have as much of a track record. So if the company goes broke and the investment is lost, then another investment would have to be done so you could keep the permanent residence, right? Okay. So there is this risk factor that must be considered if the person wants to do the lower investment threshold.
Okay, so either you make a company with a high investment, a regular company, or you take a very low threshold, but with high risk company. So if you lose the company, you will pay another money to have another business. So it's again either to have a big money for a normal business or have low money for high risk business, and to keep this high risk. If you couldn't keep this high risk, you will pay another money again. Okay, this is fair enough. انت تاني ممكن تبدا ب $30,000، لكن لو البيزنس خسر معاك يبقى لازم تعمل بيزنس تاني من اول وجديد، يا اما تروح تشتري بيزنس عندهم جاهز، اي شركه اي حاجه تشتري في حاجه شغاله بقى لها كذا سنه فمفيش مشكله فيها، فالبيزنس هيفضل موجود. When you offer companies like this, sometimes you offer franchise restaurant or something like this, ready-made company available working so long time, so it's easy for them to join.
Yes, it's a possibility as well, but that would be for the 500,000 Brazilian reais threshold, not for the 150.
I know 150 is for a startup. He have the idea and he go for the startup and you make the due diligence. But for the 500 or 600, you offer franchise.
Yeah, we can propose businesses as well. We can offer businesses as well, not a problem. Just a correction, like the 150,000 is not only for startups. It has to be innovation, but the businesses can be on the market for 15, 20 years, 5 years, and they will keep going because that's why I was talking about research funds, because they stay on the market for the time being. It's a lot more reliable than startups, definitely.
Okay. So any business that have an innovation, so it's not a startup, it's innovation. Once you have innovation, you can pay 150 only. But
yeah, they tend to call it startup, but it's not really only startups.
If you have a regular
it can be startup.
Yeah,
it can be a startup, but not necessarily a startup.
Okay.
And also keep in mind, doing the investment is not a full guarantee that it will be accepted, right? Especially if we're doing if the person is going to make their own business and they don't prepare a proper business plan, they don't organize the application well, this kind of thing, it can be rejected, right? So that's why we want to make sure that there is a real proper business plan, that there will be an operation, that everything is well structured. It's not a full guarantee. Of course, it is a much higher acceptance chance than, let's say, a tourist visa, especially if the woman is pregnant, for example, right, as we discussed, or even a nomad visa, because there's much more ties to the country here, much more being brought in. But it's not a full guarantee. So the person shouldn't think oh, I'm just going to do whatever here because I'm investing and I'm going to get it. No, they should really treat this seriously and either choose a serious company or make a serious plan.
Okay, but يعني I pay the money once I almost get the first approval or something like this. يعني for example, if it is 500,000 or 600,000, $100,000, يعني it's part of the process that we already get first initial acceptance or something. Then he continue pay the money, or he pay the money, then he get approval or he get rejection.
No, he would first have to invest to then be potentially eligible. But the eligibility mainly remains on the business.
طب what if I pay $100,000 in one company that you already recommend, okay, and I apply, then I get rejected. I can sell my company or I stay or whatever. I get rejection for the visa, but I own the part of the share from this company with $100,000 and I don't get the visa.
Yeah, then that has to be written down in the contract in the investor contract of the business to see if they can actually withdraw to invest.
So we can withdraw the invest, right?
Depending on the contract with the business.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, we mentioned that this amount of investment, it's part for my process to get the visa, and if I didn't get the visa, I will not be continue the contract. It could be mentioned in the contract, right?
Yes, it could be if
Yeah.
the company accepts, because the company
it
will
has
have
to
to
be
buy the
structured for
shares
company.
back. Yeah. Which is why we bring in lawyers in the team,
Okay.
several of them.
But for the innovation, it will be my own investment and my own process. Okay, then I make the investment, then I will apply for the visa. The first joining or the first travel to the company, I'm traveling to make the business with a tourist visa or what?
Depend on where you're from. Depending on how easy it is to get the tourist visa. But usually, yes, you would go on a tourist visa. You wouldn't need to be in Brazil to actually do the investment if it was to be for the innovation one, for example. You should be in Brazil if it's only your own business. If it's another one person's business, you don't need to be there. You can just come up with the investor visa itself, even if you want to get it through the consulate. Yeah.
Okay, so I pay the money, I make the process even if I'm not there. Once I get the approval, I travel to receive the visa there, the permanent residency.
Yes, or you can just wait in Brazil while it's being approved.
Okay. طيب again for the money transfer for the business, you are receiving crypto and such money or total normal money?
No, we would have to show normal money.
Normal
Yeah.
money.
To convert to fiat. We have ways of helping get the money from crypto to Brazil in-house. So we have good, there's crypto-friendly banks in Brazil that do this intermediation, and we have relationships with them.
For me right now, it's not crypto, but for some of my client may be interested to pay in crypto. That's why I'm asking. So it's okay, no problem.
Yeah, we can help transform that money from crypto into legitimate Brazilian reais in a Brazilian bank account.
اوكي، في عندهم بنوك للكريبتو. لو انت معاك فلوس بالكريبتو عايز تدفع مفيش مشكله، في عندهم بنوك يحولوا الفلوس النورمال العاديه، لكن هم بياخدوا فلوس عاديه. وانس ان انت بتقدم، مش لازم تبقى موجود في البرازيل عشان تقدم على الاجراءات. انت بتمشي في الاجراءات وتقدم، وانس جت بتروح تاخد الفيزا او تقدم بفيزا سياحه وتاخدها لغايه لما تاخد الاجراءات كلها. اوكي. Rejection risk is low for well-structured, higher for weak business. Of course, that's why this is our rule to revise all the business plan or recommend the company that is accepted from the company. Okay. Exit after citizenship. Once Brazilian citizenship is granted, the underlying investment can normally be exit. Okay, so after I get the citizenship, which is 4 years or 8 years from the real estate, I can sell the real estate or I can exit the business. اوكي. ممكن تبيع الشركة بتاعتك بعد 4 سنين لما تاخد الجنسية، او بعد 8 سنين لما تاخد الجنسية من العقار تبيع العقار، مفيش مشكلة، او تخليه براحتك. اوكي. But يعني you will become a Brazilian and you spend already 3 years or 4 years 9 months, so you should have a business or you should have a real estate or something. Okay, great. Okay, boss. Continue, sir.
Perfect. So yeah, just to make sure people get the things very clear, the, let's say, golden visa, right? Investor residency is not always a permanent residency. As we discussed, real estate is a temporary residency first. Business is permanent. Also, citizenship is not automatic after 4 years. It's not like they're, oh, live 4 years and now they can get it. It's going to be a separate naturalization application that has the presence requirement, has the language requirement, and will take about a year. The business investment, as mentioned, is for qualifying technology, research, and innovation projects. And as we just mentioned right now, right, like it's not that you can apply first and invest later. In Brazil, you must invest first, which is also why you should, if you're doing a business investment, negotiate with the lawyers your investment contract properly, so that let's say if I get rejected, the company buys back the shares or something like this.
اوكي طيب بعض الخرافات مع الحقائق بيقول لك هنا الريل استيت بيديك اقامه دائمه. لا، الريل استيت بيديك اقامه مؤقته لمده 4 سنين، وبعدين تاخد الاقامه الدائمه بعدها، وبعد الاقامه الدائمه تقدم على الجنسيه. طب الجنسيه اوتوماتيك بعد 4 سنين؟ لا، لازم تثبت ان انت موجود في البلد اكتر من 9 شهور في السنه، وتتعلم اللغه البرتغاليه. اي بزنس ممكن يبدا ب 150 الف دولار، سوري، اللي هو 30 الف دولار، 150 الف من العمله البرازيليه عشان اقدم عليها. لا، لازم يكون بزنس انوفيشن وكواليفاينج تكنولوجي وكده. لكن ريجولار بزنس ممكن يبدا ب 100 الف دولار او 120 الف دولار. اقدم الاول وبعدين انفست؟ لا، حضرتك تنفست الاول، تدفع الفلوس الاول، تستثمر الاول، وبعد كده تقدم على الابلكيشن. ولو اترفضت لاي سبب هنكون كاتبين في العقد ان انا والله هرجع التعاقد ده وهتشتروا مني نصيبي لو انا ما خدتش الفيزا. اوكي سير، continue please.
Perfect. As mentioned, we will discuss also more of this on the other places. But if they'll live in Brazil for the citizenship, then they also have to make a choice of where to go. Again, you have many different lifestyle choices, because you can get small towns by the beach, you can get big metropolis, you can get mountain cities, you can get really a lot of different lifestyles. The biggest hubs are São Paulo, if you're focused on business, if you want a, let's say, New York style city. Rio de Janeiro, if you want to live in a big city still, but by the beach, a lot of nature, a bit more laid back lifestyle, while you still have a lot of the amenities. And if you value safety, if you want to be in a place that's calm, that's tranquil, that has better security, then the south of Brazil is very interesting. Florianopolis, particularly, very searched a lot, because it's also by the beach, and it's a regional capital. But there's other cities that could fit into this smaller city, safe, nice bill, like Curitiba, like Balneário Camboriú. So again, this is something that we'll discuss with the person, what their preferences are, if they don't have any particular plans yet. But in all of these, you can get really great schools, international schools for your children, schools that you can, even have classes in English, German, etc., and also high standard private healthcare. You have even the Syrian Lebanese hospital in Brazil, for example, is one of the top in all of Latin America. So we also have, they don't have to worry about this if they come to Brazil.
There is a Syrian and Lebanese hospital already opened in there. Wow.
Yes, Syrian Lebanese is one of the top in all of Latin America.
Really? Okay. So most of the Lebanese and Syrian are doctors and nurses and so on. Great. This is good. في مستشفيات لبنانية ومستشفيات سورية كتيرة جدا هناك وقوية جدا. التعليم بيقول لك كويس جدا في كل المدارس الانترناشونال، وممكن بالانجليزي او كده السكول مدارس. وقلنا الصحة ما فيش مشكلة خالص فيها، ما فيش مشكلة. الدول اللي ممكن تعيش فيها، المدن اللي ممكن تعيش فيها، ساو باولو، ساو باولو قلنا البيزنس، ريو دي جانيرو للحياة واللايف ستايل، وفي تحت في الجنوب برضو فلورينوبلس اوكي. وبرضه هم هيتناقشوا معاك انت عايز تعيش فين وازاي، ويقترحوا عليك اماكن تعملها. لكن في لايف ستايل مختلف كتير، وفي حاجات كتيره ممكن تعيشها. عايز تعيش في البيزنس، عايز تعيش على البحر، عايز تعيش في الجبال، في كل حاجه. البلد كبيره جدا وكذا. How many people in total Brazil? How many population?
Over 200 million. I think it's like 220 million now. 220, 200 million.
Okay. البرازيل فيها 200 مليون نسمة. اوكي. This means that it's a big country for business. يعني 200 million, it's a big country for business. Also you can have, yes. Okay. And Brazil apart from BRICS, I think Brazil, China, Russia, and all of this. Brazil goes
exactly. Brazil is part of BRICS. Brazil is part of Mercosur. Brazil is part of the CPLP. Brazil is a part of a few different trade, immigration, cooperation blocks.
يعني البرازيل داخله مع البريكس وداخله مع ميركوز مع جنوب امريكا اللاتينيه، مع دول بتتكلم بالبرتغالي، مع البريكس القوى الاقتصاديه. فالدوله كبيره فيها 200 مليون و 220 مليون نسمه، وفيها تنوع مناخي وتنوع حاجات كتيره قوي تقدر تعملها وتعيش فيها كويس. فالدنيا تمام. اوكي جريت. continue please. Yes.
Perfect. And yeah, so just so people understand the full scope of the service, of the support that we can help here, we can analyze their case personally, plan not only the residency application, so which path it will be, where the investment will be, in which company or which city, which neighborhood, but all the application support, so preparing the documents, translating, file management, due diligence, ongoing assistance for whatever needs they have, tax planning, right? If they're going to live in Brazil, if they want to get to the citizenship, they're going to have to spend more than 6 months in Brazil, so they'll become tax residents. We help with the full tax planning, so they pay the least amount possible legally. We'll help with the citizenship guidance. We can help with their relocation plans if they need help getting a bank account, if they need help getting a driver's license, if they need help finding school for their kids, setting up their bills. We can really provide full service concierge support for their relocation. And, you know, in most of the main cities, if they go into the middle of a small town in the Amazon, then might be a bit harder for some of the subjects, but it's very rare that yeah, someone will go for somewhere like this. But we really cover all of the main spots and needs of our clients in the country.
فهم يقدروا يعملوا لك كل سبورت وكل الخدمات اللي انت عايزها للريلوكيشن او اعاده الانتقال الى هناك. بدور على سكن، على مدارس، على شغل، على بيزنس، على البيزنس بتاعك ايه، او هم هيشتروا شركات او وات ايفر. كل حاجه هم ممكن يعملوها، حتى الدول، المدينه اللي انت هتعيش فيها، واي حاجه انت عايزها لغايه لما تنتقل حياتك كامله هناك. ويقول لك على الضرايب، تقلل الضرايب ازاي، وتدفع فلوس ايه، وتعمل ايه، ويراجعوا كل حاجه، ومساعده مستمره على طول. ongoing assistance all the time. Okay, great.
Not sure if it will be of help, but in case, I know many Arab speakers
I
also
like
French
it so much.
speakers.
I really like it so much. I like now. I used to like Brazil, but now I get to know more about Brazil from you. Really, this is very, very. For me, it's a good option for relocation. يعني start with a good one, either $30,000 or $100,000 or $120,000 for the business, 4 years only, permanent, immediate permanent residence. This is a good affordable amount of money through the business, or to buy a residential or whatever the property for $200,000. Also to get a temporary 4 years and get income, passive income from the rent all the time. Then after 4 years, you will be eligible to another 4 years for permanent visa. Then you go for the citizenship. If you spend 9 months and if you learn the Portuguese, this will be also a very good affordable price to get the and buy the citizenship in the beginning. Really, thank you so much, Francisco, for all of this, and thank you so much, Julia, for all your information. I like the presentation so much, and I will use this presentation, as I told you, to all my prospects, to filter them first before they come to you. I will listen to it again, and I will read it again, and to explain to everybody. Once somebody is ready and available to move to Brasilia, we will connect with you and start to connect him with you to make all the due diligence and the ongoing assistance for him. Thank you so much for you. If you need anything or have any comment, I'm with you. I really appreciate your time, and thanks. And next week, the same time, okay, we will go for birth and marriage, both together. And the week after, we'll go for digital nomad. So we have 3 topic on coming Wednesday, and the after Wednesday, birth and marriage, then digital nomad Brazil. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Dr. Mahmoud. Just as a last comment, if it's easier, if it helps for some of your audience, our team can help do the full support in either English, Portuguese, Spanish. I speak Spanish. Julia is a native French speaker as well. French is easier for them than English.
Yes.
German, but
You
any of these
mentioned regarding Morocco and Tunisia, they can enter without tourist visa, right? They can enter Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay,
visa-free.
because Morocco and Tunisia are speaking French, and Julia is native French, so this will help also. So we
Good
have
news.
part of
Good
our
news.
customer from Morocco also, and Algeria. Morocco and Algeria cannot go for without visa, right? Morocco and Tunisia.
Yeah, they have to apply for it.
They have to apply for visa, but they are talking French. So again, you offer English, Portuguese, and Spanish and French. This is a great support also for, because we still have country from clients from this inshallah. Okay, sir. Thank you so
And
much.
German.
Thank you so much, Julia. Thank you, Francisco, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next week. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. See you next week. Take care.
شكرا على خير. ان شاء الله
Bye.
هنبعت الفيديو والبي دي اف على الجروب ان شاء الله، والاسبوع الجاي هيبقى معانا البيرسو الجواز والولاده في البرازيل، تاخد بيهم اقامه وجنسيه، والاسبوع اللي بعده هيبقى الديجيتال نوماد. اوكي. ثانك يو سو ماتش سير. ثانك يو جوليا. ثانك يو. باي باي.
Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.